Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to Fighters Rep Podcast, episode 49. Today we're going to be discussing a couple of things, including Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. We're going to be giving our prediction on that fight coming up. It's a big fight. But we're going to be starting this show off having an interview with another guy that's in another big fight in the Lions Den. It's none other than Mark the Highlight Reels. Mark, how are you doing, young man?
I'm good, George. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Always excited to talk to you, man. You're always bringing the highlights. You're always bringing the excitement, man.
Trying to.
I was complimenting you on your little setup. I like the lighting. I like the Muhammad Ali poster in the back. I feel like we're inching our way towards a good fight related studio in the Reels household.
Man, I got a bunch of stuff up in here too. I got Max Holloway over there. I got Mike Tyson. I got some of my other posters. So
Nice.
Everywhere I'm at.
For sure, we love it. Well, Mark, you've signed the dotted line. You're competing at Fighters Rep 25 on September 7th at the beautiful Commerce Casino. I feel like it's kind of become your second home at this point. This will be the third time in a row at a Fighters Rep event, right, in Los Angeles, where you've signed the dotted line. You've found nothing but success with us so far. You're on a roll. Not that winning is the only success, right? This is the amateurs. At the end of the day, we just want to get you guys good experience. But I feel like you've been, matched up well, and I feel like you've performed. You've outperformed who you've been matched up against so far. You've come out on top. Beautiful performances in your last couple fights.
Thank you, man.
Tell me how you're feeling. Since we last saw you get a beautiful counter knee knockout at the last Fighters Rep event, which I still think is one of the highlights of the event, man.
I appreciate it. I feel good. I feel more confident for sure, but I got my teammates and my coach to keep me humble.
More confident, more than that.
Yeah. It's gonna keep growing too. It's gonna keep growing. But like I said, I'm still getting humbled in the gym. So I just got done with sparring right now too. So just trying to make sure I keep the right mindset so I can keep these performances going.
Yeah. Well, I think that besides your athleticism, your technique, I can tell you're putting in the work.
Thank you.
I can tell from a mile away you're putting in the work, bro. You've
man.
just evolved ridiculous from the first time I saw you.
I appreciate it.
I think your confidence is something that is not easily taught and not easily learned. Kind of tell me where that comes from. I know your father was a boxer. We've kind of discussed this a little bit in the past. Is that a genetic thing? Is that something that was learned? a little bit of both. Kind of tell me about that confidence, because it's tremendous confidence, and I love it. I love
it. Thank you. It comes in the preparation. Like you said, I'm putting in the work. I train every day. Like, I don't take any rest days. So it's me getting my ass whooped in the gym. It's me dedicating my life to what I'm doing. And if I'm gonna keep it a stack, like, confidence isn't really something that's natural to me. Sometimes I kind of struggle with not being in control of a situation, and in fighting, it's like it's up to me to do something. So it's like it just feels good to fight, and I'm just happy to be there.
Yeah. That's an interesting take on confidence and where you're at mentally. You said when you're not in control of something. Is it something about wanting to maintain control? You feel a little lost when you're not in control. Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
It's funny because, like, this is gonna be so random, but when I was born, my parents said that I had a big look of concern on my face. So I guess you can call me a worrier. So it's just, I'm a thinker. I like to think, and I think you can see that in my fights too. Like, I'm not going out there like just throwing shit to throw it. Like, I like to be calculated in what I'm doing, and that's why I enjoy fighting, because I don't have to rely on a team. I do like have my teammates to back me up and I have my corner, but it's me
Sure.
in there versus whoever. So it's just like I feel like I'm in my element when I'm fighting.
For sure. No, I've seen a lot of that thinking, and I think that's what I think that's what makes a good fighter. I would say that analytical mind, it can get the better of you sometimes. I feel
Hmm.
like not for anything, but I'm probably kind of that way a little bit as well. I'm always going back to the drawing board, just like you guys, to
Hmm.
see how do I make this a little better. How do I make the show a little better? What can I do to put these guys out there, so on and so forth. So I feel like I relate to you in that sense. You know what I mean? You've kind of you've kind of gone over to, when I met you, it was Systems Training Center. I don't know if you're
Hmm.
still there, but I see you
I,
really rep. Mhm.
I'm still there. I'm more of
Yeah,
I work there and I teach there and I started there. But yeah,
nice.
my training is definitely with Nomad Thai boxing.
Right, right. Tell me a little bit about Nomad. Because I see you representing it quite a bit on social media. I see Tariq doing the same. Big shout out,
Hmm.
Nomad. I see Tariq doing the same. I believe the head coach is Joseph. Is it
Yes,
Joseph that's
sir.
the head coach there?
Hmm.
Big shout out to him.
The wizard.
I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to him. He's very kind of to himself. And
Hmm.
every time I see him, it's at the fight, so I don't want to mess with him too much. But kind of tell me about this team and how you got connected with Joseph and this team, and what this team's about a little bit.
So I met Joseph through Tariq, and I met Tariq at a bar. I was watching what's it called? Islam versus Volk, the first one, and he
Nice.
came up to me because he recognized me on a poster. And like a true warrior, Tariq didn't even tell me he trained or anything. He just came up to me and said, "What's up? I, see what you're doing," and blah blah blah. And he left it at that. And I went to go train at UFC gym one day just to like work out by myself. And I see this dude there, and I'm like, "You train?" And yeah, he told me to come meet his coach the following week and to come spar. So I went over there. I met Joseph, and Joseph whooped my ass. And it's just I can't even. There's no other way. Not in a bad way, but like
Yeah, yeah,
and it was just like it was like not one of those ass whoopings where you're getting hurt. It's like an eye opening one. And it was
yeah,
just like ever since it's just like, man, this is where I need to be at. And they were super welcoming to me. They're welcoming to my friends too. And now we got like a really good group. Like there's a lot of good guys in that group, and everybody we're like-minded people. I think we all train hard, and we all want we all want to see each other grow too. And I think that's what's making us special right now.
yeah, yeah. Well, you are the sum of the five people you are around, and
Hmm.
I
I
think it
seen you
is.
put that on notes the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, people in the fight game definitely need to learn that, especially young fighters. I don't want to see them go by the wayside. I've seen it before. I'm sure I'll see it again, but I'll do what I got to do as a man
That's all you can do.
to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll do my best. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's amazing to have the right people around you. I mean, and that's not just for your team. That goes for anything in life, right? Business,
Yeah.
relationships, whatever it is. So I'm glad you found somewhere you're happy with. What can you tell me, if anything, about Joseph? I mean, I don't want to break the code or anything like that, but what can you tell me maybe about his fight history or anything like that about him? Because I mean, it sounds like he he definitely attracted you with his style. With his
Hmm.
style.
If I'm being honest, I don't know much myself about,
See, I
but
see.
what I do know is that he knows what he's talking about, and he's very good at breaking things down and delivering information in a way that you can understand it. And if you don't
Mm,
understand, he's got different ways to explain it to you. And he's like I said, he's the wizard, man. He's a wizard. And
yeah.
man, he helps me so much and doesn't ask for anything in return. So shout out to Joseph. I'm very grateful for him. But yeah, I don't know much either, man, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
But I know he's a good guy,
And
and I'm
is
glad I met
Nomad
him.
is Nomad his team, or is that something you guys got together and created?
Nomad is his brand, and that's what they were going by when I came there. And there wasn't even merch or anything yet when I first started training, but now there is, and it's we're different, man. We're different than everybody else. I'll say that right now. We're not a gym. We're like Nomad is us. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's cool.
Well, shout out to everyone in the chat. We have CN Tabron. He says, hi, hello back to you.
What up?
Reptiles Anthony 15 says, yes, sir, Mark.
What up,
Nomad
Anthony?
in the house.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys joining us. If this is your first time, join us, subscribe to the channel. Join the channel and obviously give Mark Reels a follow. He's throwing down against Michael Claycomb on September 7th at Fighters Rep 25 at the beautiful Commerce Casino. Mark has been on absolute fire. You guys do not miss this kid fight. He's got the skills, he's got the mindset, he's got the talent, he's got the technique, and he'll go as far as he decides he wants to go. And I think
To
you
the
guys will
top.
agree with me if you go back and look at his performances at the last couple fighters reps, especially the last one where he landed just an absolutely brilliant. I mean, that was a brilliant counter knee, Mark. That was
Thank
brilliant.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we even had Charles Rockstar Rodriguez comment on it. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
I
him.
I saw that. I saw that in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to him. I mean, he fought in glory.
Mhm.
He's a fantastic fighter. You know, he's from the Bay Area. Big shout out to him. You know, he's one of the most decorated, I think, Muay Thai fighters in Cali. And he was high on that knee. He was high on that performance. So you know that's some good props you got right there. Also, any questions or comments you guys have for Mark, I will present them to him. So feel free to drop them in the chat. Excuse me. Isaac McCary says that knee TKO was nasty as F. Choco says, always love to support Mark. He's my favorite fighter.
So
And
sweet.
then Isaac said, I don't know how Castaneda wasn't throwing up, to be honest. Let me
It's
ask you
tough,
about that fight,
tough
Mark. You
as
know,
shit.
Castaneda's he's really good as well.
Yeah. No.
He's
Yeah.
just that kid's really good. Um, I put you two in there. You know, Hung's the one. You know, me and Hung put you two in there against each other because you know, obviously we thought you guys you're still prospects, but higher level prospects that are showing a lot of talent. Two very promising guys, you and Castaneda, and you know, I was getting a little bit nervous, you know, because I don't, you know,
Mhm.
you guys are
No, I
so
got
good.
you.
You
I
know, I
got
don't want
you.
anyone to lose. I don't want anyone to
Mhm.
feel like you know their star isn't going to shine as bright because they took a loss in the amateurs. But you know, I do it to give you guys the best experience at the best time. I felt like that's what that fight was for the both of you. I think you're both going to come away better. But what a fantastic performance against a really, really tough fighter in Castaneda. Kind of tell me about that fight. Go through that fight with me if you don't mind.
Yeah. It was fun. It was really fun. I that's the first guy to ever put any type of pressure on me. I'll say that right now. And I was kind of glad because originally when I started training, I was like a counter fighter. But then when I started fighting, nobody was moving forward on me. So it was cool to like actually get to show what I originally was kind of training like.
Yeah.
And when I saw his last fight, it it was like I could tell he's a thinker too. So I was really excited because it's like you said, two young guys getting to do it, and like sparring's one thing, but being able to fight, like I was real interested to see how I would do, and
And
to see how
sharp.
that
I mean,
fight would play out.
you're both sharp, not just thinkers, sharp, you
Thank
know.
you.
That's what made me excited about the fight. I was like, man,
Hmm.
these are two, you know, pretty explosive guys that are thinkers, that are
Trying to
from
fuck
great
people up.
gyms, you know.
Hmm.
So
Um, yeah, it was fun. It kind of went how I thought it was gonna go. I thought if I put him away, it would be with a kick or with the hands, because before this fight, I'm not gonna lie, I never threw knees. I never was really throwing knees, and yeah, my coach, he was definitely, I think he was proud of me for getting it done with a knee. And I'll tell you this now, I'm throwing knees now. I'm throwing knees now for sure. Um, but
can't
yeah,
can't blame
I
you.
knew he liked to, I knew he liked to tap tap, get in range and then get out, tap tap, get in range and get out. So I knew that I had the time him coming in close, and it just happened to be the knee. And yeah, it was a really good fight, man. And I'm excited. I think he's on this next one too, right, Anthony?
He was supposed to be. I think he pulled out. He had some sort of
Oh,
injury, so hopefully we get him back in November. But I mean, definitely,
yeah.
definitely anyone we put on the show, anyone I put on the show, is somebody I'm interested in
Hmm.
building. You know what I mean? And by building, we're not trying to do it the way boxing has traditionally done it, where we line up a bunch of tomato cans for a guy. We're doing it. We're doing it in a way where we think, hey, how do we get this guy the fight he needs right now? Who's available right now to give him the best fight he can get right now on his level, so
Especially,
that he
yes,
can
sir.
so that he can advance and improve. And I think I think you're a primary example of that. You had your first fight with us against Fox. I think it's Tony
Hmm.
Fox was his name.
Taylor.
I felt like that was a good matchup for the both of you. You came through that with a decision where I thought you dominated, but it was a good fight, especially on paper. And he actually had way more like PKB, I think, experience than you. But
Oh yeah,
trying to
yeah. He had a
that's
lot.
why I keep trying to drive home to everybody. The PKB stuff is not the full contact amateur stuff. It's just not.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then, but he's a fantastic fighter. Hope we have him back. He's actually gone on to win and do some great stuff in
Yeah, I saw
MMA.
that.
So
I think we're gonna train this week, actually, me and him. Yeah, I
I like
saw
to
his
hear that.
last
I
fight.
like to hear that.
Yeah.
I like to hear that. So that was a fruitful matchup. You see what I mean?
Hmm.
And then you had Castaneda. I kind of saw the same thing from you and him. There was, two dynamic athletic fighters. I said these guys are, the records are similar. This is a great fight. And my goodness, did you come through that one? And you said you've never even thrown a knee. I mean, that's got to be exciting for you, Mark, to
Yeah.
to to get a finish for the first time with a knee. You know what I
So
mean? A
I
strike
swear I
that
don't
you
use
don't
that.
even.
Yeah. No, it was the first one that I dropped him with. I was like surprised. Like I was really, but the second one, I knew that after that I was like, okay, I gotta throw that shit again. And the second one, I knew when I hit him that it was gonna be tough for him to keep going.
And we heard that one around the commerce. I mean, that thing
Mm.
landed.
Yeah.
That knee, like the kids say, Mark, that knee was kneeing that night, brother. Uh,
Yeah.
Isaac McCary says, hung the GOAT matchmaker.
Fact.
Choco says, how does Mark deal with pressure he just mentioned? So that's a question from the gallery here.
Pressure, like I'm assuming like somebody moving forward. Just trusting in my defense and trusting in my skills, like I know that when I'm on, it's hard to hit me clean and I'm good at rolling with shots. So it's just
Mhm.
knowing that like when you go in a fight, you got to know that punches and kicks and all that stuff is going to get thrown at you. So freaking out is definitely not going to help. So staying as relaxed as possible and being aware enough to see certain openings. So just the preparation. That's what it is the preparation. Like
Yeah.
that's the only way.
No, I hear you. It's hard work, and that's pretty much it. Isaac McCary says, Mark looks like AJ McKee. Thank you, Isaac.
AJ
Ladies and
McKee's
gentlemen,
crazy.
Isaac Free Smoke McCary. And then Hurricane Santana is, really pushing his luck here. He says, "Hey, I see you, Arbab. All right, we're gonna see what's gonna happen when you call me Arbab in person the
Uh-oh.
next time."
Uh-oh.
Hurricane Santana. Uh, he's our matchmaker down in Florida.
Yeah.
Just he likes to mess with me. We like to mess with each other. That that counter knee was brilliant. I would say that's one of the probably one of the best knee knockouts I've seen at Fighters Rep. Probably one of the
Thank
best
you, man.
knockouts, period. Just because the setup. It was fast. It was technical. It was surgical. You know what I mean? And then the way you kind of walked off and the late reaction, beautiful knockout.
Thank you, man.
I'm sure that's something you've watched a few times since
Oh
it
yeah,
happened.
yeah. It's funny because after the fight's over, you got all this like adrenaline and stuff. Like I'm watching fights, I completely forgot that y'all was even recording that shit. When I opened my Instagram, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't even think about it for a minute, but no, yeah, definitely,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely,
And it definitely got some rotation on social media. I'll tell you that
hmm
much.
yeah.
What was kind of your team's thoughts and your thoughts post fight? Like, how'd you feel after that?
Work isn't finished. I went
Was
to
that?
sparring the next day. The work is
Oh,
not finished. Like it's just honestly, my first thought was just I was when you're in every time I fight, I'm always thinking that I didn't fight the way that I did, and I have to watch it to know. Like I don't know why I was just like I felt like sloppy and all that stuff, but when I
even in the last one, because I know you told me that about the
Mhm.
the Fox fight, but you felt that way in the
both
last
of
one as
them
well.
at like
Wow.
right that was my first initial. 'Cause you don't know until I'm assuming when I get more fights and more experience, I'll be a little more like conscious of that kind of stuff. But yeah, like while I'm in there, I don't know. I don't know. You don't know till you see it. But I was happy to get the win, but I knew that I just gotta get back
Yeah,
and fight again. I want to
yeah,
fight
yeah.
for a belt, man. I want a belt, so I gotta keep training.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like you're definitely climbing up the ladder. So, we'll see what happens next. And speaking of which, what happens next is get your tickets at FightersRep.com
Yeah,
to watch Mark Reels at Fighters Rep 25 on September 7th. And Mark, you're taking on another kid that's very impressive and dynamic, and Michael Claycomb.
hmm
And this is a fight I'm very excited about. I think you're
me
both
too.
athletic. I think you're both gifted. I think you're both talented. And here's another thing I'll say about you, because this is about you right now. We already did a Michael Claycomb interview, so this is about
hmm
you right now. I know you have that boxing lineage, but what I'm impressed by with you, Mark, is I feel like you mix it up. Some of these guys are kick heavy, some of these guys are punch heavy. I feel like you're about 50-50. I
I
would
try to
say
be.
maybe, yeah, I would say maybe you slightly favor the hands, maybe, but I feel like you're very balanced in the way that you
Thank
fight,
you.
and I think that presents a lot of problems. And I think that that's what kind of helped you get the win versus Castaneda in the
Oh
last
yeah,
fight.
yeah. No, it wouldn't be smart to just box with him. As much as I wanted to box with him, it's you got to mix it up. And when with the Taylor fight, I just kept throwing the fucking right hand, and that kind of did piss me off a little bit. Like looking back, because like you saw in the last one, I got more weapons than a
Yeah,
right hand.
yeah,
So, like I said, the more experience I get, the more I'll be able to show you guys. And I want to be a fighter, a complete fighter,
no.
defensive, aggressive, counters, moving forward. I want to be able to do all of it. So that's the goal.
And I've seen your kicks, and they're beautiful, and your
Thank you.
punches are as well. But I've seen your kicks; they're very nice. And you're taking on Michael Claycomb come September 7th. I mean, he's got a very unorthodox style
hmm
for kickboxing, but I feel like you also come with a difficult style, right? I feel like you utilize more movement than other guys do. You utilize better head movement and bobbing and weaving, which it can be risky in kickboxing, right? And Muay Thai, because if you slip too hard and a shin comes up,
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah,
you're gonna wake up in the back. But
yeah.
you're very effective with it. You've found a way to do it. Just it's subtle enough that you're able to avoid a lot of damage, and you're fast, you're athletic. And that helps you with that as well. Kind of tell me, what you think about this matchup between you and Michael Claycomb, because I think this is a very exciting matchup.
I think it's badass. I think it's fucking cool. I was surprised that I even got the fight because I think he's got like a good, maybe I don't know how many fights he's got, but I think he's got more than me. So I was surprised that I was able to get this one now. But I'm glad. I'm thankful that Michael took the fight too. I think it's gonna be a good fight. And I think with me, the difference between me and these other guys that you're gonna see is I'm not gonna look the same in every fight. You know, I'm bringing something different every single time, and I'm very excited to show what I got on September. But it's a good matchup. It's gonna be a fun fight.
What did you think about the matchup when you heard it? I mean, you obviously you
I was,
liked it enough to
uh,
obviously you liked it enough to accept it. But what did you think about the matchup when it was presented to your team?
yes, that's all I thought was yes. I'll take that fight.
Yeah, yeah,
And out of respect, not like like just because, like I said, he's been fighting probably as long as I've been training. So it's just I'm happy to get this opportunity. That was the main thing that I was thinking is
yeah.
this is one of those fights that I can really like show myself. So I'm excited for the opportunity and I'm working hard for it too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I believe it, and I think. Listen, I have a lot of respect for Michael. I think he's been offered a couple of title fights at Fighters Rep where he's come up short. But he's
It's a
always,
game.
yeah, he's always in contendership, and he's won a title at another promotion.
Hmm.
He's won a Muay Thai title, and so I think that's a reflection of our respect for you as a fighter because I do believe from what I've seen, and I've looked at your past fights before. I've seen bits of them. And I do believe what I'm seeing is a trajectory going this way.
Thank you.
And so we were very confident in making this fight. We think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I'm very, very excited about this fight. I think this is a 50-50 fight.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I thought,
Okay.
that's what I felt about Castaneda. That's what I felt about Taylor Fox. So we're going to see what happens here.
Hey man, I'm training to prove to you guys what I got, man. I'm trying to show
But
y'all.
yeah,
So
just so from
I
me, we
appreciate it.
definitely believe in your skills and Michael's skills to make this fight happen. Choco says Mark always puts on a show. I'm ready for the next one.
It's coming up.
So hey, you know where to get your tickets. Of course, FightersRep.com. If you can't make it, we're gonna have a beautiful TV quality live stream that you guys can watch from anywhere in the world as long as you have YouTube. All you got to do is join the channel. It's $9.99 a month, and you'll get to watch Mark along with a bunch of other incredible fights. We've got Death Dealer Marquez taking on, David Fisher, looking to become a 2-division champ. Same with Cam Spencer versus Christian Zoller. I mean, there's some absolute bangers on this card. Of course, Mark Reels versus Michael Claycomb, and so many more. We've
My
got
boy
a
Tariq's
super.
on the card too.
Who's that now?
Tariq's back on the card too.
Tariq's back on the,
Hmm.
shout out to Tariq, man.
Yep. That's my boy.
He's
That's my brother.
he's not only an absolute gentleman to speak to and deal with, but this guy's a whole problem in that lion's den.
I'm telling you right now, y'all ain't seen shit yet either. I was just sparring with that fool right now. Like I'm very excited to see what he does. Keep your
Me
eyes out
too,
on
man.
him.
Me too. And even in that last event, he came up a touch short against Campos, but against Junior Campos, but he was coming on. He was coming
Hmm.
on heavy in that fight, and the guy has unlimited cardio. I don't know what you guys are doing out there, what you guys are eating out there at Nomad. Probably the flesh of your enemies. But my goodness, this dude just kept coming and coming and
Hmm.
coming, and I was really impressed. I'm always impressed by Tariq, but I do see him getting significantly better every time, and I look forward to watching him fight with no headgear. I think
Oh
that's
yeah. We're
happening.
both
So,
excited about that. We're like, it's time to take that shit off.
yep, yep. Very excited about that. So that's going to be amazing. We've got Hurricane Santana saying it's going to be fight of the night. So you got a lot of people excited about your fight,
Thank you,
Mark.
man. I appreciate that.
He says between Claycomb and Mark. So I mean, I feel like you guys are pretty humble. You guys are good guys. You're humble until you get to the weigh-in, right?
Man, I'm always humble, man. What you talking about? I'm always humble.
You're you're humble, but you're humble,
I'm,
but
we got to fight still, so
I know,
it's
but
just.
But the switch, at least from what I've seen, the switch turns on when
Oh
you see
yeah.
that dude at weigh-in, whoever it is, and I see this intense focus from you, and it turns into, that arrogant confidence that I was talking about. And I'm not saying you're
No,
arrogant,
I
all
know. I
respect to
know.
you, but it's in a good way, because I'm gonna show you confidence, or you have to show
Exactly.
me. It's the you have to show
Exactly.
me
It's
confidence.
both. It's both.
Right, right. And that's the first thing I noticed about you. That's why I'm so excited to work with you. That's a mentality that not everybody has. That's a mentality that sells. I think people love that mentality. I think that makes you
It's
very
not fake.
marketable.
I'll tell you that right now. It's me.
I,
It's
no,
me.
I can tell it's not. Let me tell you, when I'm sitting there, when you guys, I don't know if you guys notice, when you guys are facing off in front of me, I'm watching, and I'm seeing the pulse in the neck. I'm seeing the breath going in and out. I mean, I can tell. It's authentic, and I love it, man. I think that sort of bravado, that sort of machismo. I think that sells. I think that shows that you care. I think
A
that
lot.
strikes fear into your opponent. I think that gets the fans excited. Where does that? It starts at the weigh-in, maybe before. Tell me a little bit about this, because I can't get enough of it. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan.
It's just I can't really explain it. Like it's just how I'm feeling right now. It's just how I'm feeling in that moment. And
Is it
I'm gonna
like? Is
be
it like? Is it like you think you could beat me? You
a
think you
little
could?
bit,
That's what it looks like. How
a
dare
little
you?
bit.
How dare you think you could beat me?
It's still respect, but like I wanna show I don't even know. Like it's just how I'm feeling every single time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm ready to fight, and I hope you are too. What
I
up,
love
man?
it.
What's up?
I love it. And Ignorant Behavior, Gary has just joined us. Gary, I've been here with Mark for a while. I don't want to hold him up too much longer. I've had him here for over half an hour. We're big
It's
fans of
been
Mark's
fun.
work so far in the Lions Den. You got any questions you want to ask Mark before I continue?
What should or I was gonna say what should we expect, but what do you want out of this fight? What do you want to happen besides a win?
I'm just looking for the win, to be honest. That's what I want. I want to win. I want to progress. I
You don't
want.
care
I
how you
want.
get it, huh?
I care. It needs to look good. It needs to look good. But
Does it need? Do you want a knockout? A stoppage?
of course, of course, the stoppage is the aim. But I'm just looking to get better, man. That's the
Yeah.
main thing I'm looking for every fight. I'm an amateur, so I'm not really like looking to. Like I'll fight. I'm trying to fight anybody, and I'm just trying to keep progressing. That's really all I'm focused on, and making sure that when I do win, it doesn't fuck with my head, and when I do lose, it doesn't fuck with my head either.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
keep getting better.
I mean, you're so even killed. Do you when does you start? When does it start? The blood start pumping.
At the
When? At what
weigh-in,
moment does it?
You got to see him at the weigh-in.
um, every day, like I don't know, like what?
His neck at the weigh-in is throbbing like this. His eyes are like, I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna have to call security for these
No,
guys.
no, no, no. I'm telling you, it's never beef. Even if it looks like it, it's not beef. It's just
It feels like he's in a locker room listening to Sade or Drake or something calm. Like he's just chilling. He ain't listening to nothing rowdy. But no,
nah,
I'm just
just
joking. Yeah,
trying to keep myself sharp. Just keep getting
that's a
better.
good
That's the
mindset, though.
main
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, no, definitely intense. Definitely the kind of guy that when he gets hit, it's gonna hit you right back. He's gonna hit
Mhm.
you harder. Definitely the guy that wants to show you in front of everybody at the Commerce Casino in that Lions Den that's his territory. He's marking his territory. That's what I'm seeing from Mark highlight reels, and he named, and no question about it, he was named the highlight because he wants it to look beautiful. He wants it to look beautiful, and you saw that last knee knockout, Gary, at the last
Yeah.
Fighters Rep, and that shit was beautiful.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was beautiful.
Hey, me and Jordan's on the side like, the whole fight. That fight was
Thank you,
crazy. I
man.
loved it. I was like, yeah, that's one of the guys. That's one of them guys, George.
Now, Gary, he's taking on Claycomb September 7th, man. Exciting fight.
I'm there for that.
Two athletic, dynamic guys. Mark, any predictions for that fight? Anything we should watch out for in that fight, or not really your thing to do the prediction?
I'm not a predictor. No, I'm just you gonna see. That's all I gotta say. Is I'm training my ass off. I know he's training too, so it's gonna be fun. That's all I got.
Do you think anything? You see anything that may cause you some problems or some things you want to look out for?
I mean,
or you don't want to say?
I'll be good. Everybody's got what they got, but I know what I got is something special. So I'm not worried about what these fools are doing.
I agree.
Mark, you're a thinker, so I'm going to assume that you're probably looking at tape, you're looking for tendencies, you're looking to build a good strategy with your team for this fight. Am I right about that? I mean, is that the kind of person you are, or would you say you just go in there and do you?
I definitely watch a little bit, but I don't like to overwatch stuff because I don't want to overthink it because I'm already an overthinker. I think I do best when I'm reacting and when I'm like presented with certain things. Because let's say like I'm watching all these fights and I see something, but then it's not there in the fight. Then I'm gonna be all fucking. So I rather just like see what I need to see. Okay, this is his type of style. These are some things I can do. These are some things I can worry about. But honestly, I'm training to fight anybody because especially guys pull out and stuff and injuries happen. So I could get God forbid, like he could get an injury and have to pull out and I got to fight somebody else. So I'm just training myself to get better. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Gary, you got anything else from Mark?
Nah, I was making sure I know if you was gonna let him go or not, because I came in late. I got football practice for my kids and stuff. But yeah. Was there any other sports that you played that some like a lot of sometimes some athletes transition to fighting, kickboxing or something like that, and they like I know I can't think his name right now, but he played football and I know a lot of coaches try to get people from other sports as athletics. So I just wondered, did you play any other sports?
Not really. Like I was outside, but I never.
It was always fighting for you.
I've been training. In August, it'll be 4 years, so I haven't even been training that long either. And I played like baseball and stuff, like when I was young, but never really was in sports. I watched sports.
Yeah. Who do you gather inspiration from, like for your style and the way they fight? Is there anyone that you kind of look up to, or that inspires you or motivates you?
Damn. There's a lot, and it changes. But I like Ilya Taporia right now. I like him. I like Gervonta Davis.
Can't go wrong there.
There's a bunch of stuff like old Roy Jones Jr.
That's your favorite.
That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites.
Old Shane Mosley.
Oh yeah.
There's a bunch. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
It's going past, but there's a bunch. I like.
Well, I know you say you don't.
Of the sport.
I know you say you don't watch the fighters you're finna fight, but do you watch a lot of fighting?
Yeah.
So
That's
okay.
all I watch.
Yeah.
That's all I watch. It fucked every other sport up for me. I can't watch no fucking football. Dudes in tights and shit. That's crazy. Hey, no disrespect, but
no. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
I like it. I'm kind of the same way now. Mark. The only reason I watch baseball is my son, man. That's the only reason I watch baseball, man.
This guy was a basketball player. Don't even watch basketball no more.
Man, I rather, people getting punched in the face. What's better than that?
Does it? Do you have butterflies, and then when you get that first hit, it kind of clicks for you, or it's just always as soon as the bell rings, it's already there?
I had butterflies for the last one because I never fought that early before. There was more people there than before, but
Yeah.
I think that type of shit, I feel like I don't mind nerves at all. I want to be keeps you
Yeah.
sharp, Like the fight before that, I had no nerves because especially because it was so late. I was just like, and there were so many things going on. I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to fight. There was no nerves, and I feel like that's kind of what made me a little like rushing stuff.
Yeah.
When I get the nerves, I know it's because I care about it, So a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit, nothing crazy, nothing that's gonna stop me.
It looked like the nerves helped you in that last fight.
I think so too. Keeps you sharp,
Yeah. Well, Mark, man, we're super excited to have you on September 7th against Michael Claycomb. I got a feeling it's going to be an incredible fight. I got a feeling it might be one of the fights of the night. I just don't see how it's not going to be an exciting fight. And, we definitely wish you the best of luck and may the best man win, man. But I think either way, you're going to come out a better fighter afterwards. So
thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Sorry I couldn't be here earlier, but we appreciate you for coming on. You were one of my favorites that night.
Hey, man, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be back on here.
for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, we appreciate you. And guys, be sure to follow Mark Reels. It's Mark Reels on Instagram. And then I think, is it 2 or 3 underscores after Mark?
I think it's 3, but if you type my name, you'll see me.
You'll find him. Mark, man, thank you so much for your time. And we'll catch up with you soon, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Have a good one.
You too. Gary, I appreciate you joining me, man. It's on to the next topic, Gary.
All right, what's up?
The next topic. We've got, it looks like it's signed, sealed, delivered, right, for September. Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga, Gary. Obviously, anytime Canelo fights, I'm excited. He's still the face of boxing, if you ask me. But what do you think about the opponent in Edgar Berlanga?
Berlanga, however you said. I'm always butchering names up here, but he's a young fighter. I think he's a better boxer than Canelo's last fighter, Munguia, even though I think Munguia is probably a harder puncher. Even though Berlanga has power too, I believe. But I think he has good speed in his hands. I think he has faster hand speed than Canelo. He can move around a little bit better than Canelo can at this age. I think he's hittable. I think he's hittable. I think he's good coming forward. I didn't really see much of him come off the back foot, fighting off the back foot. He's a good counter puncher though. I think that too. He likes to jump in also with that overhand right, good hook. He's a good boxer. I don't think he's on Canelo's level yet. I do think he can give Canelo some problems just because he's young. He's quick. He's quicker than Canelo. He does have some power. He is a better boxer than what Berlanga is. Munguia is. I'm sorry. Where Munguia pretty much has one way about it, and he's walking down and he's not moving his head at all. Defense wasn't that great. Berlanga defense isn't great either, but it's better than Munguia's defense. So, I think he'll be able to cause some problems, but ultimately, I don't think he's beating Canelo.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, Gary. Canelo Alvarez, still the face of boxing, if you ask me. And, they were talking about a few different opponents. We didn't know what we were going to get. I knew at some point, though, we would get Berlanga. I wasn't sure when we were going to get Berlanga, but it looks like it's happening September 14th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I like the fight because, Berlanga's young. He's undefeated. And I think it'll be exciting, and I think it'll have a lot of spice to it because, if you know boxing, Mexico and Puerto Rico historically have had a rivalry in boxing. And every time, a Mexican fighter fights a Puerto Rican fighter, typically, it's a lot of excitement. It's a lot of drama. They want to outdo each other. It's been that way for a very long time. I'm not sure which fight started it, but it's been that way forever. But I'll tell you this, I'm here for it, and I'm definitely going to watch it. That being said, though, a lot of people are expressing their frustration, Gary, in this fight because, I think a lot of people are expecting Canelo to, fight a Benavidez or fight a Bivol or maybe next fight a Crawford after this, but I think they wanted him to fight someone else other than Berlanga. It looks like kind of a hand-selected opponent to a lot of the hardcore fight fans. What do you say to the hardcore fight fans that say that? Do you think they're right, or do you think that this is, an okay fight for Canelo to take at this time of his career?
I mean, I think they're right. I'm not. I mean, he handpicked Munguia. He handpicked Berlanga because their styles, their styles that he wants to fight that are favorable for him, that he likes to fight. He doesn't want to fight.
But isn't that what boxers do, Gary? When they get to the, to the top?
I mean, I'm getting there. I'm getting there now. I'm getting there.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Soon it's gonna be a sex joke soon here somewhere.
Gary, stop fluffing it already and get to the point.
Nah, but you know what I'm saying? He's at what I like to call the Floyd Mayweather stage in the later career when Floyd Mayweather fought Berto, and everybody's like, Berto, like, no disrespect to Berto. Berto was a good fighter, but at that time, Berto had some losses. And Gary, what did he do at that time
Gary, for you to go fight here? Especially down here, Gary. We don't need Berto and his homies pulling up on us, bro. Chill out.
No, I'm saying I'm a fan of Berto, but at that point in time, it made sense before who was he lost to? Ortiz when he got knocked out? But
yeah.
It made sense if he would have won that fight and then Floyd said, yeah, I'm fighting him. It made sense then.
Yeah.
But then at that point in time when Floyd chose him, and it was like Floyd pretty much admitted it. He was like, I'm not going to fight them young lions. I'm going to let them fight each other like the Errol Spences and the Bud Crawfords and these guys, these up-and-coming guys, the young lions. So I get that at a certain point. But, it is a duck, though, to me. It is a duck because it's sitting right there. You can't say the fight isn't worth it. It won't be a mega fight. It will be because everybody wants to see Benavidez. He's better than these guys that you're fighting. And it's pretty much you just don't want to fight him. If that's the case, be like Floyd. Hey, he's a young guy up and coming. I'm going to let him take over afterwards. Or even Bud, like, look, I'm 10 years older than Boots. I got my eyes set on bigger things. And then Canelo, because the money he makes, he can go fight a guy like Berlanga. He can go fight a guy like Munguia. And
I think the issue that Canelo's having, though, right, is he can't really say that the way Floyd did because, I mean, what was Floyd, 36, 37 when he fought Canelo? He was something like that. I mean, I think he was.
Yeah.
Canelo's just 34, Gary.
Yeah, that's where I feel it's a difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like a guy that's priming or should be priming, even though he's got a lot of miles on the odometer right now. But should be priming. It would be difficult for him to sell that to boxing fans, I guess, right? That I'm kind of up on the back end, lion, and give it. I'm gonna pass the torch after these couple fights. I mean, what do you think about that, Gary?
No, I was that's what I was gonna say. The difference is Floyd was much later in his career, and he had already fought like he loved to say the most world champions of anybody and everything. So he had already been through all these great names, all these great fighters. And then he start, on the back end, he started like, all right, let me make a couple cash moves with McGregor. That's 50-0. He wanted 50-0. And then, I'm gonna fight Berto, or I'm gonna fight, certain people. And and I see, I don't want to knock a fighter for sometimes taking an easy fight, because I believe even Andre Ward say every fight you fight can't be a war fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to take some easy ones. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like to me, he's never gonna fight Benavidez.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not what he looks at them like, man, that's gonna be too hard of a fight. I don't want to fight this guy.
He wants 200 million, he said.
Yeah. He's too big. I mean, he's really big. He's really young. He got fast hands. He got punching power. It's just like, do I really want to get in there? It's kind of like, here comes the sex joke. You being an old guy, you get this young girl, and you're like, oh man. You're like, you think you can handle her, but you don't know, like, she made you get with a young girl and she won rounds, and you like, yo, I got one round. I'm shooting one round off here, bro. You know what I'm saying? So 3 times I'm not doing that. And that's the thing, you gotta decide. Do I want to go mess with the young chick? Because she gonna want to go to the club and party till 4:00 in the morning. I don't want to do that.
I'm be Roberto Duran on that one, big dog. No mas.
You gonna be the old guy. I went to it was my oldest birthday. It was my oldest birthday yesterday, and I took it. Her and her friends wanted to go to Wynwood. We went to Wynwood, and I went to the club, and I was the old guy in the club.
I'm sorry to hear that. Continue.
I was in the club like, all right, I'm ready to go home. And that's just gotta know your age sometime. And I feel like Canelo, I feel like Canelo, he's been through a lot of wars, the Triple G wars and things like that. And man, he just like, dude, I don't want to do that.
What would you do in that situation? Gary, are you retiring on the stool and no mossing, or are you throwing the fight?
Oh man, it's a tough thing because your pride's still in there. Your pride's still there.
I'm just taking the dive. I'm throwing the fight, big dog.
What you gotta do? You gotta make an excuse like, oh, I got an appointment early in the morning. I would, but that's what it is, man.
Oh my God!
But that's the excuse that Canelo's making, because he basically came out and said, I've done everything. I can do what I want at this point.
Yeah,
he's basically come out and said, I can do what I want at this point. But then, to me, you can't start talking about legacy. I want to do this legacy fight, or I want to give the fans what they want. Then, because you really don't. These are things you said before, but you really don't. I mean, I feel like he thinks like, I'd rather fight Bud Crawford, a smaller guy, than I think I have somebody older, smaller than me. You know what I'm saying? That he may not perceive him as dangerous, but same amount of money.
Do you think that fight happens? Him and Bud Crawford?
Yeah, I think that's happening. He's not going to give you Benavidez, but he's going to give you Bud.
If I'm Canelo, man, I don't know if I almost prefer to fight Benavidez, because, bro, if you lose to Crawford, a guy who came up from like 130 something, bro, that's not a good look. That's going to hurt your legacy way worse than if you fought a David Benavidez, in my opinion, who's the bigger guy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't really think that either one will kill his legacy if he loses to him. I mean, I don't think, because people say, well, Benavidez was young, a big guy. Canelo was older, had been through wars. And if it's Bud, they're going to be like, Bud's going to go down as probably one of the top 5 greatest fighters ever, especially if he does that. If he does that, it's going to be hard not to put him up there in top 5 greatest ever. You know what I mean? So it's why it's gonna take a little hit on his rep. It's gonna take a little hit. It ain't gonna take that big of a hit. And plus, I just think he feels more confident that he can beat Bud than Benavidez. Like, I think he thinks he can beat both of them, but I think he thinks that Benavidez is the harder fight. That's a big guy. Like you say, he probably can go all the way up to heavyweight if he wanted to.
I don't. If I'm advising Canelo, I don't like the Crawford fight. I don't like the Crawford fight. What I do is I tell the Saudis to make me the Benavidez fight. Because if I'm being honest with you, I didn't think Benavidez looked all that good in that last fight versus Gvozdyk. And mind you, he went up to 175 to take that fight or whatever. But Canelo's been up there too. I just didn't think he looked that good though. And I'm sure maybe the size had something to do with it. But I think Canelo could beat Benavidez.
That's not
I think he could definitely beat him, and he's very beatable. With Crawford, he could probably beat him too, but you're not going to outbox him. He's dangerous, right? You're going to be at a boxing handicap disadvantage against Crawford, and you're going to have to rely on your size and your power. And it's just, I feel like it comes with a lot more embarrassment if you lose. It's a lot more punishing, in my opinion, towards the legacy if you lose to Crawford. I also, unless your boy Turkey is involved, I don't know if it brings in the same amount of money.
You don't think so?
I don't know. Because Benavidez, everybody wants to see Benavidez, Canelo. Crawford, Canelo, I feel like is more of like it's almost gimmicky, right? Because they're so far apart in weight. It's like
I won't go that far and say gimmicky. I won't go that far.
Well, it's more of like a fantasy. Like if it didn't happen, I would understand better than if Benavidez Canelo didn't happen. Benavidez Canelo is much more realistic. They're a lot closer. Bro, Crawford was just fought at 147. You're gonna move him up to 168? Like I could see that.
But now he's gonna fight at 154. And what happens if he fights at 154, knocks Medrimov off, and he knocks him out. And then let's say he gets another fight at 154 and he beats that guy. Then you're like, okay, 150.
But then he's got to go up to 160 and then 168.
Well, I think he's going to jump over 160.
Man, but that's.
I think it's a tough task. That's why he would have to be in the top 5 of all time. If you at least the top 5, that's at minimum. If he goes up and does that against a fighter of Canelo's caliber, not like Roy Jones going up against and fighting Ruiz. Even though no knock on Roy Jones, that's still an amazing accomplishment. But I'm just saying, Ruiz was Canelo.
Bro, but what does Canelo have to gain from beating Crawford?
Money.
What does he have to gain?
Money.
Well, you get the same with Benavidez, and it adds to your legacy like crazy.
I think. I mean,
you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying though?
I don't really think beating Benavidez adds to your legacy as much as you're making it. Because so you beat Benavidez.
That's the fight everyone wants to see, dude.
Just because you want to see a fight doesn't mean it's a fight that's gonna.
It's not just me. That's the fight that people have been calling him to take.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying just because that's a fight that people want to see right now. If we really think about it, Benavidez isn't
undefeated, like one of the youngest champions ever. Super decorated.
But he's undefeated, one of the youngest champions. But if we really look at, is he a historical fighter yet?
He's getting there. He's getting there.
I mean, he's still building himself up to be that guy, and that's why he wants Canelo fight.
But he's in his prime.
I don't think he's in his prime yet. I think his prime is still it's still up there. I don't think at this point that he's at peak of what he's going to be now. Probably. How does Benavidez right now?
I think he's still in his 20s, man.
Yeah, I mean, like fighters when they get to that 30,
27.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I still think he gets better he gets better and better, and I don't think right now that I can say that this adds so much to Canelo's legacy as you know. I don't think it adds a little bit, but it's just like him beating other accomplished fighters that just as accomplished as Benavidez. I mean,
by the way, 27, same age as Edgar Berlanga. Thought that was interesting to share with you.
It's not like the Triple G fight. That was a legacy fight.
That fight was crazy.
That's a legacy fight. That's what I'm saying.
And I thought Triple G won the first one for sure. But what do I know?
I thought so too, though.
But I don't know, man. I just feel like the Crawford one is a lot more dangerous. It can harm his legacy a lot more. He's got a lot more to lose with Crawford, because he's going to get money for either one. He's going to get big money for either one. But I think he's going to get a lot more respect if he beats Benavidez versus if he beats Crawford. Because if he beats Crawford, people are just going to say, well, he's a little guy. You beat a little guy, right? That's what they're going to say, bro. They're going to say
Well,
that.
here's my of course they're going to say that. But my thing is that we got to stop acting like Canelo needs a fight for us to give him his respect. He has the respect already.
Yeah.
You got the respect. So
No,
and because this how this can go. I go beat Benavidez, then you're gonna bring somebody else new, another young dude, and say, beat him and I respect you. It's like he already got respect. I already fought everybody. It ain't gonna never stop. When you're at the top of the hill, it's never gonna stop. They're gonna be like, hey, fight this dude. Hey, fight this dude.
Who is there outside of Benavidez, really, for Canelo at this point?
I mean, I would like to see him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to see him fight Benavidez. That's the big fight. But I would like to. No, that ain't it for me. I would like to see him fight B-Ball again. I mean, if you go to Better BF, hey, that you won't want to see that. I don't think.
I don't think he's going back up to 175. I think he's reached.
I think he's done with that
ceiling.
Too.
So
I don't know. I think he doubles back on Bivol. I think he might double back on Bivol. I think he wants that back.
I think he wants it back at 175 too, because Bivol, see, that's the other ugly situation for him. Bivol has offered to come down to 168.
Yeah.
Bivol can come down to 168 and take all those cookies you got. He doesn't want that. He's the A side. He's not going to allow that to happen. And it's kind of the same sort of potentially embarrassing situation if Crawford moves up 12 weight classes to fight him and beats him. You know what I mean? It's just a tough situation. I think. Look,
I just think in his mind, he's like, Crawford's a little guy. I could take him.
Yeah.
He's a little guy. I can probably bully him. And it might be foolish to think that with a guy of Crawford's skill, but I think he's just thinking like, you know what? For the money, I'll take him. He's a little guy. How can I not take that little guy? It's probably going to be the same or more money fighting Crawford, in my opinion, than me going to fight Benavidez. And he's a bigger guy, harder fight. It's going to be a much harder fight in his mind. I'm just saying in his mind, not in my mind, whatever. He may be thinking that. And let me take the easy money.
If I was him, I would fight Benavidez. I think that would be enough because at that point you could say, he fought everybody. The only other one out there would be Bivol. I would probably do Benavidez, try to do Bivol. And then, if he still feels like fighting, he can. But I think after those two fights, there's nothing left for the guy to prove. He's done so much in boxing, in my opinion. Hell, if he retired now,
there's nothing left.
If he retired now, it'd be fine. But I think if he took that Benavidez fight, and won, oh man, you ride off into the sunset after that, bro. But Gary, I don't know how this guy's going to get out the sport. I mean, he makes so much money every time he fights. And he's still 34, man. He's just 34 years old.
I'm telling you, it's gonna start going into cruise control. He's gonna start fighting more of the Berlangas and the Munguias. No disrespect to either one of them because they're good fighters.
Yeah.
They're good fighters, and like I said, I think Berlanga gives him some trouble because of the speed. I just think Canelo is gonna walk him down, break him down to the body, catch him with a shot, hurt him. And then Canelo is like Bud in the sense that he finishes you. When he hurts you, he finishes you. Yeah. And so I think he's gonna, and I think that's the reason why he's picking these guys, because he's picking the guy that's not gonna be moving around a whole bunch, a guy that's gonna come to fight. And because, like I said, he's the old guy now. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be smart with who I'm picking here. Yeah. You know what I mean? That somebody that's gonna fight the fight I want them to fight.
Yeah. So Gary, who we got? How we got Canelo winning against Berlanga on September 14th? I mean, it's still a month and a half away, but you want to give a
I
prediction
got
for this fight before I let you go, before we get off this thing?
who? I got Canelo walking him down, hurting him to the body early, opening him up. I think Berlanga's gonna try to stand and back him off and get clipped with something and get dropped. Because I've seen Berlanga in exchanges get caught. He'll catch
Yeah.
you, but I've seen him get caught in those exchanges.
Yeah,
Especially if you punch him, if you're punching when he's punching, which I
Yeah.
believe Canelo will, and time him up. Canelo's gonna need a little time to time him up. So I say about 8. About 8. I might. Yeah, I say about 8. He stops him. 8. Yeah.
Well, I was actually thinking earlier than that, even, man. I was thinking I was feeling number 6. I don't know why I'm feeling number 6 on this one, but you know what? Because you said what you said, I'll probably say between 6 and 8. I think between 6 and 8. He also stops him. I also got Canelo stopping him. I'm thinking the same thing you are. I think Canelo stops him.
I just think that Canelo's gonna push him when he's gonna be walking him down. After a while, he's gonna feel Canelo's power. He's gonna be walking him down a little bit, and then he's just gonna go into, well, I gotta fight this guy off of me, and it's gonna turn into a fight which Canelo wants. He's gonna try to. He's not gonna be able to walk Canelo down like he did some of these other guys and just stand toe to toe or back him up, because he's been a stalker in most of his fights.
Yeah.
Canelo, but something that's so underrated with Canelo, he's been hit by some of the hardest punches in the game.
Yeah.
And he ain't been dropped.
Yeah.
So,
well, I love it. Well, you know, that's all we have for you tonight, Knuckleheads. We've been on over an hour and 6 minutes. But me and Gary are doing this again Thursday night. We're going to be talking about a potential fight. They're saying it's fake news now, but it's looking like Tank or Shakur either was made, at the very least is in negotiations. I hope. I'm hoping we get some clarity on that, but we're going to talk about that, Gary, on Thursday night, man. That would be the dream fight, I think.
yeah.
For all of us, we all want to see that fight, and so we'll talk about that Thursday. And also, don't forget to join the channel. Drop a super chat or a super thanks to help us build, get some merch, and follow us on social media. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time, Gary. Anything you want to say before we let them go?
Appreciate you.
All right, we're taking the dive like you're a young one.